here it asks you to add a registered server. Sorry, not add server. It says like you download the sync agent. If you click onto this, it will give you a URL. This URL. Just copy this URL and put it into the VM because you wanted to download there. So I put that URL here and said enter. This actually give me an option of downloading the agent. Come on. Sure. Download. Because I'm using Windows 2012, I'll select the 2012 only rather than downloading all the agent. If you have a on-premises machine at your end of Windows 2012, 2016, 2019, you can download all those. So I downloaded it, and if I just look for, that's an agent, and I'm going to run that agent. Now when the agent will be running, it will be running this wizard, pretty simple to work with. It will be installing the agent somewhere here. This is asking you like if your machine is behind the firewall. Select for Microsoft Update, and it says like that automatically update this particular sync agent if it is available, and it should check it when for the updation of the sync agent. So right now what is happening is this particular machine is getting sync service installed, but after a sync service will be installed onto this particular server, I need to register this server to my sync service running within my here. So I will register it here. So let's wait. Oh. So after finishing it, it'll check for update first time after installation. Then it will ask me like server registration. Here it will ask me, are you using private cloud? I said yes. Then I'm clicking on to sign in. This is what server administrator has to do it. And then you have to pass your subscription. After adding your subscription properly, it will ask you to choose from your subscription the resource group under which the storage sync service has been there, where you want to register your server with. So it will give you your subscription. It will ask you your resource group. My resource group is RG2, and here I've got a sync service as Amit I said dev sync service. This is the service which I've run. Amit I said dev sync service, and next says register. Might take some time to register my server. Then it says, oh, copy the URL. Let me copy the URL, put it somewhere temporarily in my machine here. This is a URL for the sync service resource. Anyhow, I don't require this. Later on, I may require it for the. And if I just click on to refresh here, you'll see in the registered server view, you'll get two server online. The new demo VM sync has been coming here. Both are running Windows 2012 server. Now I need to create a sync group. I'll create a sync group. So that means what I did here is, as per the slide, I actually used a registered server. Here I deployed a sync agent and then registered the server to the sync service. And now I'm going to create a sync group. That's what I'm doing it. And I'll create here new sync group. It'll ask me, like, that, okay, this sync group will be syncing the server specific files to some particular storage. Where do you want to sync it? So I'll select the storage account. So there has to be one storage. I've already created one storage here. And in that storage, let me show it to you, the storage. If I just go to storage account, I've got one storage account here. In this storage account, I'll create one share. I wonder, I've already created one share for some other demo. So I'll say here new share, and I'll create a share of 1 GB. And I'll go to sync group. Maybe I'll again do it. I'll go to sync group. I'll say new sync group or demo sync group, let's say. Storage account is this storage account, and here I have to select the file share. Come on. Sometimes it takes time to replicate that. So we have to wait and watch. We can't do anything. Let me do it again. Sync group, demo sync group, storage account. So I think it was coming in the scroll bar here. So I select new share and I say create. So this is a sync group which is getting created. And if you see, demo sync group is this one. This group is actually pointing one cloud endpoint. That endpoint is my Azure file share, which is under this storage account. I've got one share created called new share. That is one point, this point. Then I have to actually select the other endpoint as server endpoint. I just go in my VM, I'll go and I'll just say Explorer. Under C drive, I will create a folder. Let's say I create a folder with the name data sync. Okay, just remember the name data sync. So I'll just go to add server endpoint, and here I've select the registered server, and then I'll specify what is the path? C drive data sync, and just create that sync point. It'll take some time to actually register the endpoint, this is my on-premises server. So it will first, this particular sync storage service will communicate to that agent deployed there, and then it will register that. So provisioning and becoming online will also be taking time. First, it will be actually checking the health of this. So we have to wait and watch. Till the time we will not see the health as tick marks like this, we can't actually start doing syncing, sync the data. So right now it will show you pending. So don't worry about it. Till the time it will not show you as healthy. It will not come out of the pending state. So we can't do anything. I'll just show you one of the example. Take an example of it. I created one more sync group as my sync group. So take an example of this sync group. In this group, if I just show you one of the demo, one of the folder into second VM, I create a folder with the name my sync data. Here I've got these files. So let me, if I add a new file, let's say, if I create a new file here, just see the file I'm creating. Pool file. I'll just give the name of that file as pool file. Just remember the name of the file. So, and I'll add some data here. This is this is demo for Azure Files Sync service performing on-prem sync to Azure Storage Sync service. If I copy this, Control G, let's say I've pasted this much, and I just saved it, and just see it carefully. If I just copy, paste, you know, that particular pool file has been copied 1, 2, 3 more copies. And if I just go back to my portal, and if I just go to my storage account, here I've got my share. In that my share, if I just show you the content here, you can see here pool file, all has come here. Even if I just go back to the server, and if I just select these files, data file copy to copy here, and I right click here and I say delete. This is actually I've done it onto my on-premises machine. And if I just say refresh, you can see that the files are in sync. So this is what we'll be performing. So soon when I'll show you somewhere in my sync group, the status health as coming as tick mark here, I will do the same thing. I'll just go back to my data sync folder. I'll create a file here as demo data. And I'll say demo for file sync. Something like that. The moment you save this file and you go back to the storage, look for your share was new share we created. The demo data has come here. This is the data. If you copy this URL, put it somewhere here as the share. Okay. Why it cannot be shown to you? I hope you remember, that when we did something called the storage, we actually have to give what access key for this particular storage to actually show you the content. Otherwise, it says value for HTTP header is not correct. So my point is the data has been there, and the moment if I add again few more data, copy, paste. So you'll just go back to the storage here, just refresh, it'll show it to you. This is a sync service, Azure sync service. That's how it works. So you have to create a server endpoint. That is the server endpoint from where you actually have to pull the data and push it to the storage file share. These are the file shares. So sync group defined that which particular data has to be pulled from which particular server folder and where in which share it has to be kept. So it actually holds two things. If you can recall, in the sync group, what we do is we define the cloud endpoint and server endpoint. So maybe it may be possible the single server endpoint may actually be pushed toward. So on the other hand, let me show you one more thing. If I go to the new share and if I just upload some file here locally, I uploaded a file called dennis.jpg onto the file share. So I got dennis.jpg here under new share. Let me go to the VM. Okay, let me go back to the data sync folder. Can you see here? Even if I refresh, this is not two-way sync. That means you are actually trying to sync the data from your on-premises to the centralized sync storage services of Azure. That's what your PPT is also depicting. So data will be pushed here, and then from that share you can actually take a backup of it. That's how things works. I hope you saw that. So first we created a deployment of sync service. Then we have to prepare a Windows server, install the sync agent on that, and after installing the sync agent, register that server with the subscription, with the resource group, with the sync service, and then we have to create a sync group. We create a sync group, and the sync group we actually had to add a registered server path. The second so one path is cloud endpoint, one path is the server endpoint, and it's done. That's how the Azure file sync service works. I hope everyone understood. Can I take a poll? Okay, Kevin, welcome. Kind of. What happened, Amrin? Are you good? Not. Kind of with a smiley. Actually, I'm worried, Amrin. Okay, thanks for confirmation, Saf and Asad. So sync service is different. Now, when it comes to import and export service, here import and export services are basically, you've got something to be done. What you can do is you can actually use it for lift and shift again. So like file sync service, we can also use import and export service. So using import, you can transfer the large amount of data to the Azure Blob storage or Azure files. And using export, what you can do is you can actually get the data from the Azure storage to the hard disk drive. So normally this kind of import and export services or even files share sync, we use it only for migrating the data to the cloud. Uploading has never been challenging, but exporting has actually been costly affair. So you can use this particular service for migrating the data to the cloud or for content distribution, okay, or for backups also, and for data recovery as well. So how do we use it? So first and foremost, you have some requirement in terms of component requirement. So import and export services help you to create a and track the job. You've got a tool which has been to be downloaded, from your on-premises or to your on-premises machine. Okay, and you require something called a drive like SSD or HDD. You require servers as Windows Server or Windows client machines also to shift. You can actually shift the desktop also toward cloud, but those desktop client machines should actually have WMF, which is Windows Management Framework, as well as BitLocker. Sorry. So two services configured. I hope you've been aware of these are the services which have been available in the add and remove features of Windows 8, Windows 8.1, and Windows 10. I'm not sure about whether Windows 7 gives you BitLocker or not. I have to check it. And then you require general purpose version 2 storage account at the storage, and then you have to create an import job which will be include what the data to be uh, uploaded toward Azure Blob storage or Azure file storage or Blobs or page Blob. So these are the requirements. So using this tool, what you can do is you can prepare import job. So -j is the journal file which will be keeping the track as to how much journal has been created, session ID, and the data set. This dataset CSV file will be the one which will be defining that which all folders and files you wanted to take from the local machine to be imported onto your what do you call to your blob storage or file storage. So via this, what happens is it creates one file into your local machine. that you can take as a, or not local machine rather. It takes it onto a what your SSD or HDD, whatever your device is. So it copies the data to hard disk for the shipment to the Azure data center. So to do this, that particular, the whole data will be first compressed into a journal file. And here you have to define like, the data set. Data set will be actually defining all the list and folders and files of the responding machine or the corresponding machine you wanted to actually upload, as a result of provisioning of lift and shift strategy of Azure, wherein you are actually deploying your on-premises data into your on-premises server to the Azure cloud. So journal file, this file keep the track of the drives and the records progress. So session ID will definitely will keep, it actually is the one which will be unique always. So you have to give a unique name to the session ID. Data will be copied. And then what you need to do is you require an import job. So I'll just show you how to create an import job. But when you create an import job, to create an import job, we require first a prerequisite as Azure storage account. You have to identify the number of disks during import, because that particular file will be holding journal 5 as well as drive ID. Okay, and then you have to install what the WA import export tool onto your target machine. Use the tool to copy the data with the BitLocker and generate the journal file, because journal file will be requiring BitLocker at the back. Then it creates an import job and ship the data to the importing destination. So let me tell you exactly how do we do it. I may not be having. Let me just show it to you if I can. I think I'm having the machine running here. Just give me a second. I'll say WA import export download. I'm considering this is my local machine. So I'm downloading that tool, import and export tool. After downloading the tool, I'll extract that tool. Where did I download it? Share folder. So this is a tool. This tool is actually need to be run under if I just say here WA, this has got a tool called WA import export tool. So this tool would require few things as per the slide. It would require that the prep import. So you have to give the journal file as well as the data set file. So consider it as this data set file which is required. Okay, will be determining what set of files to be copied from the local machine. So consider it as I have to create a CSV file. I think I do not have a CSV tool within my machine. Just give me a second. Or Excel is not there, no, in this machine. Sorry, in this Windows machine. Let me check. I think Excel is not there, so not the problem. I just was looking for that. Is there any way we can do it? Mhm. So I have to create a file. Just give me a second. I'm just trying to check it. Like, that is there any way we can get a template, because I don't have Excel tool. Otherwise, I would have created that particular file. Okay, so what to do? Just give me a second. I'm just trying to download certain file if it is there, because I don't have it. Do a import, export, CSV file. Full data set used to be there in the Azure documentation long back. Let me check if I can see it. I think in the documentation itself it has been given somewhere. Usually this practical is actually very typical and it's not been part of the training, so that's why we don't cover it. But I just wanted to show it to you if we can show it. This is a file which require drive set or data set, so I can give the data set here. Pairing an import job, let me do it. We have to pair the machine configuration is required Windows 7 2.8 framework will be installed for BitLocker. Oh, I have to download, I have to configure BitLocker also. Share. I don't have in the machine the BitLocker. But my point is like, that if you follow this step, which actually tells you what file has to be copied to which location. So this is actually one of the example of taking the, if I open Notepad, because I don't have the tool here. So it is a comma separate file, which is telling you what is the base path, what is the destination blob path, what is the blob type, what is the disk position, what is the metadata file, and what is the property file. So here, the first is the base path. This is the base path. Okay, and then it is telling you the destination blob path or prefix. This is the container name. You have to give the container name, and what is the name of the file which you have to give. And blob type. Blob type is blob. This position, you wanted to rename this particular file. That means this file will be renamed as this file, whatever. And then it says metadata none and property file none. That's how you have given to the second file also. So these files must be existing into your local machine. I hope you are understanding the point. So this way it will actually create a journal file. Okay. So I have to make a modification if I want to do it. Just give me a second if I can show it to you. Let's see, drive, users, desktop, users, Amit, desktop, and I have to give the file name as demo folder. Under that, I will keep the file as let's say I'll hold first.txt. I'll keep it as it is. and then I remove this part, and here I will to give the container name. Let's say I said my container, container. I just give the name of my container, and here the file name is first.text. I'll just take it as first.text. He has blob, and here I will just specify. Maybe I will take it as like C drive. Maybe I can give the full folder also. The way it is telling you, C drive users, Amit, desktop, demo, this full folder under my container. I hope you remember like blob container. So I'll just give it as my blob. No, my container, sorry, my container. I think it seems to be okay. Save. And I'll just save here the name as sample.csv under desktop only. So here I can go and just type that command, which is wa import. If you can look for, it doesn't show it to you here. So we have to do it, we have to type it here. Type the center. So I have to write it. I forgot the syntax. Rep import, rep import /j. This file will be, I say my journal /id, my session one, and /dataset. That's important. Colon. I have to give it here. C drive users, Amit, desktop. What is the name? Sample.csv, I think. What is it? What data set? What is the name? Sample.csv. Usually I need not to do this. I'm just trying to set in B capital S. Command is this only. Just give me a second. No problem. That's why it is creating a problem. Just give me a second. Sure. What is wrong? We got something wrong. Slash prep import slash g slash id slash dataset. What is the problem? I think they've changed the strong key also. No need to pass the strong key. As soon as we are at home, shared key is this one. I need to give this name also. My session correct. You could say 1, 2. Where's the problem? I don't give the source file and I can give the CSV file, what is the problem? Let's try to do that. We have got something called SRC. Yeah. My container. Just give me a second, sir. I think there's some problem here. I'm forgetting this here. It should actually work this way only. Let me try doing it from here. If I just go to import export job, I can do it from here also, but it should have worked from there also. So if I say here my new job, just add it under RG2 and just select the upload the general file. I have to upload the file here, but the file is not there. No, so that's the reason. This is the storage account. This storage account has to be your the data which you have to upload the general file to. So this general file will be uploaded onto this location, and then you actually have to. I can't work on it because I don't have. I think there's some problem here. I don't know why it is not been working. Even though I've typed the correct thing, I think maybe because I'm not having more drives there, it will not be able to create it. It requires at least one disk to be there where it can create the general file. It cannot do it on the same machine, and or otherwise. Just give me a second. Just checking one more thing. I may not be able to show this practical because this is not a part of this code, but I thought of like whether it can be possible to be shown because I have shown it once or twice to different clients, those who are looking for this import and export tool. Let me see if I can. But my point is pretty simple, like now that we require a general file. This file, in order to create this file, I need to actually download that tool which I downloaded called WA import and export. This tool actually asks you a lot of things to be done. You can actually read all these things. So take an example of like, first we have to create an import to copy the whole directory. You can actually pass /j. Okay, these are optional. Anything which has been actually in the square basis is optional. So ID is also optional, but general file is important. The other important is source directory and destination directory. Destination will be your, virtual directory. Source directory will be your current machine directory. And what it does it from that current machine to the destination. Destination has to be your source, your destination blob. Okay, so it will create a general file. That file has to be imported here, and then we can do the things because right now if I do not have a general file, I can't work on it, and that has to be a binary file. So I can't mimic it also. Let me try mimicking it. However, it will not work. Let me tell you because it checks the. Just see. It has to be a JSON file or an XML file. Even if I change the extension, it will not work. So I can't mimic it. So I need to create that journal file, but somehow it is not working here. Think I'm just trying to check whether my BitLocker is enabled or not. Do you have an idea about like in Windows 10? Is there any where is the BitLocker? I know about the server, but I don't know about Windows 10 gives you BitLocker or not. Anybody? Anybody who knows like that where the BitLocker services will be as a feature will be available? I'm not that much good with Windows. If anybody can help me out in Windows 10. Nobody? So if nobody, then we have to look into the slides only. There's no way. Then I can't show the practical because there's no practical for this. I thought of covering it like if it is there, but please understand, we require a data hard drive to be available to the Azure shipment. One way is that we can copy it locally at our location, give it to Azure people. They come and they collect that data, and then they upload the data. One way is that once we create a journal file, then what we can do is using that journal file, we can actually use this tool, import into Azure. So when we say somewhere here, import job, when we did here, so we are trying to create an import and export job by going to the add, and we're creating import job or export job. So first we have to create an import job, and then we have to do an export job. So if I say XP job, exp job, that actually require data to be stored into your storage account. So right now it requires storage account, where that storage account must have. So take an example. This I'm exporting, and this will be exported. All. I have some data here. Yeah, I can select the containers, add containers. I can add the container. I don't want to add container. I want to add the Blobs. Oh, it is for site recovery. I should not do it. Let me do it. Just give me a second. Quickly, let's try showing it to you. I'll do reverse. Actually, I should have not done reverse, but I'll do it reverse to show the practical at least. If not by the command line, at least by this. So I'm just going to go and create one storage account quickly. Amit said dev one storage version 2, putting into east west. Let's take an LRS. Important is not this. Important to see that in that blob we'll keep some data. Or maybe while it is getting created, I can actually go back to the storage account. Already having a storage account here in the container. I'll just create a container. I'll just say my container. That would have been better. It's a private table access. Here, I would have created in this container some file to be uploaded. So I would have uploaded some files here. Let me upload the file. Some files here. Upload. Mm. So 3-4 file I've uploaded there. Now I'll go to job details here. I'll say do not export all. Rather, I'll select add container, and I'll select my container. Say OK. And here I need to actually choose that which particular blue dart and all those stuff which I need to use. So in this case, Microsoft will be charging me, using UPS, using DHL, whatever, and then where the credit account number, return address, all these things you have to pass. So this way, actually, what will happen, that people from these locations will be coming, and they will be delivering you the hard disk, which will be having your exported data coming from that container. But take an example of it. It will only for the bulk of data. So if I don't have a bulk of data, shipping it via secure manner using Microsoft has got tie up with these only. So shipping it via those kind of what do you call distributor or distributor, will be a costly affair in comparison to you know uh, if you upload the data with the heavy bandwidth. So if you are having petabyte of data which you are actually trying to upload into the Azure storage, so in that case, like such kind of services will be utilized. So that's the reason, like that import export general doesn't work at times because it creates an issue for me also. I've seen it earlier also. So we create a journal file, but normally after creating a journal file, it doesn't do anything because in that case, I need to give a shipping information. So I just wanted to show you, like that when I go here and I select Azure import, and if I just select the resource group, and if I give the name of the job, and if I say, oh, sorry, if I say okay, so this is journal file which will be asked, and the storage account will be asked. Then this returning shipping information is similar to what we got. But here, what will happen, like that the courier guy will come, they will be actually holding your journal file data. You know, uh, that data will be actually a binary data which will be kept into your disk. They will be taking the disk and will be sending it to Microsoft Data Center. And Microsoft Data Center will actually will find it out, okay, from the journal file that where in which particular storage that data has to be pushed. So this is how it works exactly. It's a very typical process, but only for a very large company. Otherwise, you can actually upload the data using either Storage Explorer or the equivalent command line which is available for the Storage Explorer is CLI based format called AZ copy. AZ copy is similar to Xcopy. It actually asks you source and destination. So take an example that if I download AZ copy somewhere here, I can say here, I don't know whether I'm having it or not. So I can go to Azure SDK download. When you download Azure SDK, where you downloaded PowerShell and CLI also, there's a tool available called command line tool. One of the tool is AZ copy. This is equivalent to Storage Explorer but CLI version. So I can select install on Windows. This is a tool. Only these tools are also increasing in size. Let's say once it will be installed, which I'm installing right now. It not take much time to install. So this one part. Here we got one tool called AZ copy. I think I'm already having AZ copy here also. Let me check if I'm not wrong. AZ copy. No. So I need to wait for that installation to happen for AZ copy in my Windows machine. Very slow. What happened? Yeah, it was waiting for that. So once it will be installed, I have to close the command prompt first. Again, open the command prompt, and you can look for AZ copy. If it is not available, don't worry about it. Just go to C drive. Actually, sometimes it doesn't set the path, so we have to be very careful. You have to go to C drive, program files 86, I think, under Microsoft SDK, under Azure, AZ copy, and just copy this and set command prompt here. It will open the command prompt tool. If I just say AZ copy here, this is a tool. So let me tell you what this tool does. Take an example like now that I want to copy some data to some of the Blob. You know, so I've got a storage account here. I might have created another storage account. Amit has it there. Here, I've got a container here. I click onto the container. I just specify my container. My container. Just create a public level access or private level access, whatever you want to access it. Let me actually I add it onto like container. I wanted to add a share also. Let me add the share. Share. I'll create the share as my share. Just remember the name of the share. 1 GB quota I gave. But this share is under Amit Asset Dev. The full path of this share is if I click onto the properties of the share, I'll see the URL. This is the path. So if I just go and say AG copy, so here I'm presuming that I've got a data. Let me show it to you. Somewhere in the somewhere in my desktop, I got the data here as desktop, a folder demo, which has got some data here. So I will just say here AZ copy. Okay. When I enter this AZ copy, it says source key, destination key, source, storage access signature, or shared access signature, or destination signature. And most importantly, slash source and slash destination. So if I just give here AZ copy, and if I just give here slash source colon C drive users Amit desktop, I have to give the path up till the folder only slash demo. That is the source path, and slash destination path is colon. I have to give the path of that URL my share, and then because source is my local and destination is my uh, shared sorry, my Azure storage. So I have to give here destination key, and let me go and back to the storage, and I have to just copy access key here. One of the access key, either I can give access key or I can give the shared access signature. So I'll just type colon, and if I say enter, just see what it is telling you. Total file transferred has been 7. So those 7 files have been transferred from my desktop folder here. These 7 files have been transferred to, if I just go to overview, look for file share, look for my share. These are the files. So AZ copy works this way. So AZ copy, WA import, export, file sync, they are the means of actually transferring the data from on-premises to Azure, in a bulk manner. That's what it is. That's how it works. When it comes to data box, again, this case is actually been Microsoft actually have completely stolen this concept from AWS. AWS used to give you equivalent to data box as snowball, wherein people from AWS used to come and they used to come up with the hard disk, and from your on-premises they used to take the data fully backed up, and they used to go to the nearest data center of AWS or the choice of yours, whether you wanted to keep the data somewhere in US. So the shipment charge and everything was been incurred to you, and they used to deploy to that chosen data center. So, oh, sorry, just to show it to you, data box has actually been offline. Also, just see the diagram here. So you got data coming from IoT data, data coming very irregular amount of data which has been coming.